Hello and welcome to another Talking episode. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined once again by
Hayden.
And today we're going to talk about the TMNT, the 2012 Season 2, Episode 22, Vengeance is Mine. So, yeah, what do you think about this amazing episode, briefly?
I mean, wow. First of all, it is, like, straight to the point, no messing around, we are straight in the action. And two, I just couldn't believe that what happened at the end. I was in utter awe at it all. Like, I can't believe Karai. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, because it's just... I wasn't expecting it. I'm actually speechless. This is like the first time in a very long time that I'm actually speechless about an episode. So, yeah. It's just crazy what has happened in this episode today.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved this episode. Thought they'd be able to do with everything with Karai and the emotional stuff. Everything about it was just amazing, and I feel like the ending is going to be something which we'll struggle to find the words for. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so let's begin this bit or this episode off. By talking about Karai escaping from Shredder's palace and then having to fight Tiger Claw before getting beaten. What do you think about that scene there?
It was pretty cool to see that we were jumping straight into the action. Like, there was no messing around. We were going straight into the action, and I did like to see Karai again after the madness that we had the last episode with Karai, in which she was basically a decoy. With C4, and that was crazy. And to be honest, I thought it was the same thing. I'm thinking like, oh no, is she like a robot? She's gonna blow up again, or something along those lines. But no, lucky enough it wasn't. But no, I thought it was really cool seeing Fish Face again, and Karai taunting him at the fact she wanted to shoot, like that she's calling him sushi and all of that. I thought that was pretty funny. But the overall thing that I took from that scene was Tiger Claw. Like, Tiger Claw, like, he wasn't messing around. He was gonna kill Karai there and then if Shredder hadn't stepped in.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that this opening bit here was, like, okay, but I must admit, like, looking back on it now, there was, like, a few questions which I do have. So, one, how didn't Karai know that Tiger Claw was behind her? I mean, she's a fully fledged ninja and stuff like that. I feel like she would have known something along the lines of, like, he was behind her or something like that, which I find weird. And then, I mean, I didn't really enjoy the fight scene with Karai and Tiger Claw, but I think, like, also, like, another bit of that is just, I do feel like the power scaling with this was a little bit wrong, just because for some reason Karai couldn't, like, she wasn't powerful enough to, like, land any powerful punches on Tiger Claw. But yeah, Tiger Claw is able to easily defeat her, just like throwing her against the floor and stuff like that. It just feels like they weren't really balancing the power out altogether. And then another thing which I did find a little bit weird also was Shredder didn't decide to use chains on her in the first place, which I did find quite weird, just because when you have captives, you normally do something like that and not just put them in a room. So I did find that a little bit weird. Yeah. And then going into the next bit, we do get see the turtles come up with a plan on trying to get Karai out, and we do get see Splinter. He's pretty much all against it because he doesn't want to put anyone in danger. What do you think about that scene there?
To be honest, I thought it was pretty cool that they were going to try and break out Karai after the last attempt. I was a bit, like, on the edge with it, though, because everyone else, all the turtles were on edge about Leo's plan, and including Master Splinter, and I was thinking, if you're gonna, that's why there's a plan. You need to talk about the plan to figure out what's next and what you're going to do within the plan. And of course, everyone was against it, everyone wasn't liking it, and I'm thinking, why are you against it? This is why we're talking about the plan, this is why we're here. But that was a thing. But no, I thought it was pretty cool to see Master Splinter and Leonardo talk about like them risking their lives to save one person. Like Master Splinter was worried about the collective more than the individual, which sure is the right thing to do, but of course he's also not risking saving his daughter at the risk of his own son's life. It was like the moral dilemma was showing there.
Yeah, I mean, with this bit here, I've always found it very confusing. Just because I do like where... I mean, I understand where Spencer is coming from, and I do understand it, and I do respect it. But also at the same time, he does come off as, like, in a way that he doesn't really care all too much about Karai and stuff like that, which I do find a little bit annoying. And with that even being said, I also do find it weird that with like the last episode and also I think episode before that, they didn't really focus on like the Shredder Karai storyline. They focused on the Krang side and some other stuff, and it's just a little bit weird. So I find it weird for like after like a few episodes from like since Karai got captured, and they're not really doing anything with it. And then only now like, oh yeah, we need to go in, we need to save her. This is all now, like, all that kind of stuff. It just feels like really weird after having like two episodes break. It's just like it feels a little bit like there, but also at the same time, because you know that there was a 2 episode delay. It's just like, come on. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of lose the action, don't you?
Yeah, I think this is like, I don't know, for like, because it's like another one of these problems that the show has, for like, it can't really balance out the villains in terms of like going forward with either Shredder or Krang. They want to like go forward with both of them, but I think it like ruins both storylines because you don't really focus on one long enough to really make it good, and when you do focus on one, it ruins the other one, and in terms it just ruins all the other stuff. And I don't know, I feel like this always going because I don't know, I feel like this show is a mess in terms of what it actually wants to do, because like even though the show wants to do one thing, they do other things as well for just, you know, want to please everyone, but at the same time just doesn't really. And I feel like this is like a really great example where like they try to do like a really great story with Shredder and Cry, which is great, but at the same time, because you had one episode like before that where dealing with the Krang, it's all like messes things up as almost as if like they don't really care about the Cry stuff. It's a mess. So yeah, if I'm going into the
I could tell.
So I'm going into the next bit. We do get Sabertails saving Cry, but let's first talk about Mikey's fight scene with Fishface and Raza. What do you think about his mad puppet skills again?
Damn, he's got some skills, and to be honest, it was kind of nice to see Mikey's puppeteering skills back in action, which was really funny. However, to be honest, I thought Fishface and Raza would learn from their mistakes from the last time Mikey did his puppeteering skills, but I guess Mikey's puppeteering skills were on like a next level that they couldn't even fathom to understand it. But no, I thought that was really funny and really cool to see that again.
Yeah, I mean, I did really enjoy it for the fun fight scenes, and it was a really creative fight scene seeing Mikey use the puppet stuff, which I really did enjoy. And there was like a few jokes in here which I did like, also with like Mikey holding on to Fishface's leg with the nunchucker and then screaming as if he's gonna fall all the way down, but he's only like a few feet off the ground, which I thought that was like a really fun fun bit is there. Also, another thing which I really didn't enjoy, or I found confusing, I feel like you might find confusing as well, but the fact that that Shredder basically the Turtles or the Shellraiser was right outside Shredder's building, like literally right on the curb of the building, and they didn't really think to look outside the building and see it or know anything about it. They weren't really hiding. I just find that so weird that they knew they were right there and they weren't even hiding, and they were still shocked and surprised by all of it. Like, how?
Yes, I wanted to talk about that as well. Like, they were parked right outside Shredder's lair. No one ever decided to come up to the van and check it out. No one even raised the alarm. Like, it was like they wanted to get captured. It's like they wanted to be seen. which is not it's not the ninja way, in my opinion. Like, a ninja wouldn't want to be seen out in the open. They're stealth. They're primarily stealth. But to do this, it kind of messes with my brain a bit. Like, after all this training of being stealthy, they just go in guns blazing for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It feels like at the same time with like how they've been doing like majority of the turtle stuff, where they want to do turtle stuff, but at the same time they don't really go through all the way with it. And I feel like that. I don't know, because I feel like if this was like 2003 show, they would like put logic into it and have the van like a few like streets away. And I think that this also goes into like one of the next bits where we're having like chase scene, and there's no one on the road, there's no people out on the streets or anything like that. It just feels like they're not really in the world. They're just there in the scene because they're in the scene, but not really thinking about it all. And I understand where they're coming from, and I do like the whole like mission aspect of it. But I also do feel like there's part of it where they're not really trying hard enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, then going in to the next bit, you do get to see Leo and Raph. They rescue Karai, and that's when they come in contact with Tiger Claw, and they have another big fight. What do you think about that scene there?
To be honest, that was pretty cool. I did like how Raphael, Karai, and Leo were fighting Tiger Claw as well. But I just quickly want to go back a bit further to when Leo was breaking Karai out of her cell, and to talk about that little romantic like situation going on there. Like, you can definitely tell that Karai and Leo have something between them, despite the fact that they're somewhat,
Yeah.
how do I explain this? I didn't want to say it, but I just wanted to bring it up because it kind of like, it was really prevalent, and I don't know how to like not, like, you saw it, you've seen it, haven't you? Like the flirty romance here and there with Karai and Leo, like, it is there. And so I don't know, because it's weird that the fact that it's Karai and Karai's Splinter's daughter, despite the fact that Leo and the Turtles are considered to be sons of Splinter. So I really don't know how that works. So
yeah, it's just really weird thing. It's just one of these things that just don't really question it because of the logic behind it. It's weird. I mean, they really did take the phrase "keep it in the family" to a whole new level, but I feel like this is something we should move on before God. I feel like this is something we should move on before we really question it and lose our minds about it all. So yeah, going into the next bit where we do get to see we do get to see Karai, Raph, and Leo fight Tiger Claw. What do you think about that scene there?
I thought that was pretty cool. Poor Karai though, like, she cannot get a good hit on Tiger Claw for the life of her. And going back to the points that you said previously about the balancing issues with the heroes and villains sort of side of things, I felt really sorry for her, because Karai felt like she's been pushed around and beaten up too much in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's an annoying thing just because it does feel like in this episode, like Leo and Raphael would get like decent hits on Tiger Claw, but Karai couldn't get hits on him, but she was able to get them on Turtles. But I don't know if it's like a mutant thing, but it just seems like really weird that she's like really like weak compared to him. But other than that, I've always found this to be a really fun fight scene for us able to do. I mean, really just show off Tiger Claw in a really great light, showing him in this just going all beast mode and just attacking them, which was amazing. So yeah, then going into the next bit, which is a pretty fun bit, we do get to see the Turtles having a chase scene with Karai and Tiger Claw and Fishface. What do you think about that scene there?
That was pretty cool. I did like how everyone came together, and it was just so cool just to see them all fight again. Like, you've got Tiger Claw, Fishface, Raza, and everyone just going at it. It was just so cool.
Yeah, I mean, with this fight scene, I always found it was okay. Not one of the best fight scenes, but it was like an enjoyable one. And There's some bits in here which I was a bit confused by, which I feel like you might be a bit confused by as well, but I do feel like there was some generally good bits in here. I really did enjoy the Karai vs Tyleclaw scene again. Something about like Karai having the little boots and the claw bits. I thought that was quite cool. Dodging all the bullets, all the flips, like really like fun creative fight scene. And then like there were a few things in here which I also did really enjoy. Like also like a question like Raph, like he's moaning about like Donnie not really filling up the manholes again, but yet they still had the trash compactor and all that kind of stuff, and also the gas, the smoke, and all that. So I don't know why it was such a big deal that the manholes weren't really covered up or refilled. But one thing which I feel like you're going to question a lot. Now they did have oil, and Tyleclaw, when the bikes skidded, he got off his one and used his jetpack, and that was like only a few like centimeters away from the oil. How did that not explode?
Oh gosh. To be honest, I have no clue. I don't understand it myself. That one little spark from that jetpack could have set off the entire city block of New York, and that just one block could just be up in flames. You know, I was a bit shocked myself, really, but like you said, I don't question things anymore because I will lose my mind.
Yeah. So then after that, we do get to see Splinter and Karai reunite. What do you think about that scene there?
That was a pretty significant scene, I would say, because finally Karai and Splinter, of course, they saw each other for the first time a couple of episodes back, but them being together like a real family now, they recognize they recognize one another, they see each other for who they really are. Karai's accepted Splinter as her father, as her real father, might I add, and they now see eye to eye, which is just great. And of course, they hug it out. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, father. I'm sorry I almost tried killing you 100 dozen times, but, sorry, I guess, That's how it went, I think. Like, that's how it went. Just like, oh, sorry I tried killing you all. There's, no hard feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I found this bit here to be, like, nice and enjoyable and a bit emotional, but I think because they've already done, like, this kind of emotional side of things in the Wrath of Tyleclaw episode, it does lose that, like, bit of, like, emotional value to it, but I think it was still quite enjoyable. But one thing which I did find was a bit confusing with Splinter, he got really angry and mad that Mikey had one little cut on his arm, despite them having dealt with much worse in previous episodes. I mean, just like Slash and Destroy, Donnie broke his arm, and he wasn't really mad then. But why is he mad now? Just because Mikey got one little cut on his arm?
Yeah, that was a bit weird. Like, they have survived and lived through many worse injuries. Like you said, Donnie broke his arm. There were some other crazy ones that I can't remember, but they have survived much worse, and Splinter has just like, alright then, you've lived, just put a bandage on it and you'll be fine. And then of course when Mikey comes back home, he's got a scratch on his arm, Splinter goes into like absolute panic mode and like, you idiot, what have you done? It's like, oh my god, why have you done this? Like, and he just goes absolutely mental, and I don't understand that for some reason.
Yeah. So then going into the next bit, we do get to see the Turtles doing some training. What do you think about that scene there?
I thought that was pretty cool. Seeing the Turtles train again with Karai, and she getting to see the dojo and all of that with Splinter. I thought that was pretty cool. But however, I just didn't like the fact that Leo was getting embarrassed in front of Karai, and then him going, like, fighting everyone else, like Mikey and Raphael and Donnie, and just into an absolute, like, mess. I wasn't a fan of that.
I mean, I quite enjoy it because, like with the fight scene, I didn't really care too much for the Raph and Dwayne one because I didn't really focus on it too much. But the Leo and Mikey one, I thought it was just a real fun one. It was just amazing how, Leo's trying to impress Karai, and then Mikey throws in the water balloon, and I love the bit where Mikey goes, "Ow, my arm," and then Leo just rushes in and fights them all, and then it turns into a big battle. I know, something about it really brings out the brother nature in them, which I think a lot of people can just relate to, just going in and a fight, and you don't really know what's happening, but you're just fighting along. But it worked really well for me for what they're trying to do there.
Oh yeah.
So then after that, we do get to see.
That bit was funny.
Yeah, but we do get to see after that Karai and Splinter talking. Karai and Splinter talking to each other about what we're going to do, and even do get to see Shredder's origins. What about his origins?
The origins. Now that was a pretty cool backstory, and I'm surprised they've left it this long because that is a huge, significant backstory. Like, to be honest, I thought Master Splinter and Shredder were brothers, like biological brothers. I didn't know, like, Shredder was adopted from the enemy. Like, that is so cool. Like, the backstory of Splinter's father finding him abandoned in the Foot Clang's like fortress, and him not having the heart to smite down this poor child because he's the enemy, and so Master Splinter's father took him in to train him as his own and to care for him as his own. And I thought that was really cool how they did that. And of course, then Shredder finding out his past and taking revenge. That is just like one hell of a plot twist.
Yeah, I mean, with Shredder, he never really had much of a great origin story, and I feel like 2003 does a really great job of really giving him motivation. And I feel like this version does do a really great job of really making him feel more human in terms of what he's really went through, the emotional side of his character, the darkness behind all of it. And I feel like there's definitely a lot there to really unpack, and it's a shame they didn't really delve into his backstory, because I feel like there's so much there you could really do with the psychology, the psychological side of things, with how much it really mentally affected him. And I feel like there's so much amazing story potential there, which it's a shame they don't really do too much with it. But all the story elements were really there to make him an amazing character. And a shame we don't really go through with it, but either way, it's still an amazing what it had. But then after that, we do get to see Karai goes after Shredder, and they have a little battle. What do you think about that fight scene there?
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. After Karai knocked out Leo, I thought that was really cool. But then, of course, what's even cooler than that was the fact that Karai's anger got the better of her, and she went full on revenge mode. And as stating in the episode title, revenge and all that, I thought that was just really cool, because she was so annoyed and angered by the things that have happened, and that the fact that she finally knows the truth for herself after a season and a bit, after everyone was saying, look, he's not your father, he's done all this bad stuff, and you still go along with him. But now Karai's finally opened up to the fact that she was in the wrong, and now she wants to take revenge and to bring some sort of, I don't know, honor back to herself, her father, and I guess honoring her mother as well, because Shredder killed her. And I thought that was just so cool. Her anger, her spirit, her passion was just there, and she wanted to kill him, despite the fact that she was unsuccessful, sadly, which was a bit disappointing, because I thought Karai would have had a chance. But of course, Shredder taught her everything that she needed to know to become a killing machine. And of course, Shredder knew all her moves, and it was kind of like a one-sided fight. Shredder knew what she was going to do before it even happened.
Yeah, I mean, I've always found this fight scene to be like such a cool fight scene with all the emotional scenes, but all the emotions behind all of it. It's really does make it like one of those kind of scenes which I feel like we've definitely talked about before, especially like with like season one with like Shredder versus Splinter fight scene where it was too good to put into words, and I feel like this one is one which you can put into words, but I think it's just describing it perfectly with all the like emotions behind it is really hard to describe it, and I think it's like a really great fight scene and perfectly executed as well. I think my only problem with this fight scene, despite it like being amazing and with all the emotions being perfect, I just wish it was like a little bit longer. I think that's my only problem with this one is that I do feel like it was cut a little bit too short, and also I do feel like the battle could have gone on a lot longer just because like Shredder, I mean just because like Karai is like a really talented fighter. I feel like she could definitely stand her own against Shredder for a little while longer, but it's a shame I didn't really do too much with it. But yeah, let's talk about the next bit, shall we? The final battle. So yeah, what do you think about Shredder versus Splinter and all that stuff?
Wow. To be honest, I really don't know where to start. Like, it was just absolutely insane. Of course, like, it was pretty cool to see Master Splinter fighting again, fighting against Shredder. But the really one thing that stood out was how lethal and ruthless Shredder was to Karai. Like, after all these years of him raising Karai as his own, he would sacrifice her to ensure victory and vengeance. That is the most, like, brutal thing that I've ever seen Shredder do. Like, sure, I've seen him do many brutal things before in the past, but this has got to take it by storm. Like, sacrificing Karai into a mutant just to kill Splinter and the Turtles is unbelievable. And of course he said he wasn't going to go through with it, it was just bait, but the fact that it would cross his mind to use her like that was, in my opinion, just absolute ruthless. It was just cutthroat, cold, stone cold.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, I don't know where to begin with this bit. I mean, I feel like Shredder doing this really did like put him on like a whole nother level with what he was doing. Because I know 2003 has a reputation for being like very strong, powerful, crazy, insane, and stuff like that. But I feel like this episode in particular really did put him on like a whole nother level in terms of like how far he's willing to go compared to like 2003. And I feel like because of the emotional side behind all of it, it really helps everything about it. And then there's everything about it with Shredder and Splinter, amazing fight scenes. The Turtles versus football, that was quite cool. I was a little disappointed that they got easily captured by the cages. I'm somewhat shocked that they didn't notice that, but yeah, but overall it's just an amazing fight scene. Just like, I feel like if you know the history and lore behind all of it, it is just an amazing fight scene. But yeah, let's talk about the next one, the big scene, Karai's mutation. What did you think of that?
The big scene.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was when Leo tried to save Karai and he was on the cage, and of course Master Shredder sent out his like sword to try and stop him, and then of course he missed, cut the chain, and Karai fell into the pool of mutagen, and my heart just stank. That was the most emotional scene that I have had in a long time watching this series, and I was like in absolute awe and shock. I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. I was just looking at the screen like, oh my gosh, is this a real thing? Is this what happened? And I thought, oh, she's probably survived or something. She probably got out the cage in just the nick of time. But nope, she went in there, she got fully submerged, and she was gone. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen now? Like, how is this even possible? Like, after all this time, now she's become a mutant, and I just wasn't expecting it at all. And I don't think no one else was expecting it. Not even Master Shredder, who was gonna do it. Like, he was just in shock. Master Splinter was in shock. The Turtles were in shock. Leo, my gosh, I felt so sorry for him, because he was heart-stricken, really. Like, he blamed himself, and rightfully so. Like, I wouldn't doubt for a second that he would be, like, absolutely broken inside to allow that to happen to Karai. Like, it was just insane. Like, and then of course Karai came out the jug of mutagen, or pool of mutagen, whatever it is, and she came out as this serpent, and I'm like, wow. Like, she's completely changed, hardly recognizable anymore, and she's now a serpent. Like, Splinter's worst nightmare, that his daughter's now a serpent. Like, in the natural world, serpents and snakes go for rats and mice, and to have a daughter that's a serpent, a snake, and you being as a rat, it must have been absolutely madness down there. The thought process behind Master Splinter, like, he's heart-stricken, he's heartbroken, he's just absolutely voided. Like, you could see it on his face and his expressions, and he's just lost it. Like, he's just completely lost the will, and that was just really what got me there. Like, it was so emotional, that scene, and it was just somehow, just, even though it was so simple but so effective, it just tore at my heartstrings, and that's what really got me.
Yeah, I mean, this scene, I don't think anyone saw coming ever, and I just think it's one of these ones where, even though, like, when you see Shredder, he's right there slicing it, you just don't believe it. And when I first saw this episode, my jaw would drop to the ground, and every time I do see this episode, it's just like one of these moments where it's just like, I'm speechless, jaw to the ground, and I just don't know what to say, just because, well, I honestly don't know what to say, just because of what they do, and everything about it is just perfectly timed, and with everything that the Shredder does, it's, I do question his tactics, just because, I mean, you'd think that with a man like that, you would think that he'll be a bit more smart about it, and not go after the turtle while he's on there, or even cut the thing while he's there. So it does seem a bit weird and stupid that he does some of this when it's so close to, like, actually, like, destroying all of it, and then, like, see how, like, Splinter reacts. It's heartbreaking. That's the only thing I've got to say to that. Is just, it is truly heartbreaking how they go around it, and my jaw drops to the floor every time. It is an amazing scene, perfect even. So so then after that we do get to see all the characters. They leave. What do you think about the ending?
The ending of which Karai somehow returns from the dead.
Yeah,
that
great.
was just diabolical, like, absolute madness. After she fell into the pot of the pool of mutagen, and she turning into a mutant, no hope of returning to her former self, and then of course they dropped this bomb right after an emotional roller coaster of being turned into a serpent. Then she comes back from the dead, basically. I'm like, you can't just drop something like that after something so emotional. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it also is pretty interesting as well, which I feel like I don't know if you were thinking this as well, but, like, Karai was able to turn back into a human form as well. I mean, that's very interesting as well, because, like, I mean, just because there's no other mutant in Turtles that can do this, and, like, she's not she's not like a chameleon or anything that can change her appearance. So I don't think I ever really explained this, like, how she's able to, like, go from her normal form and a mutant form. It's so weird, but I don't understand it. Like, can you explain it?
To be honest, I sadly don't know enough information on why she changed back. To be honest, I thought it was something that Baxter Stockman did, like with his mutagen potion. I thought he knocked something in that changed the reaction, but I really don't know. I'm as lost as you are, mate.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think about this episode, like, overall?
Overall, this was a nice little episode. Like, it was really good. I thought it was a bit fast at first, but I can see why they did it now, just to show this ending, which worked super well, by the way, I thought. But no, I thought this was a really good episode. It showed us a lot of backstory, a lot of emotions, a lot of action, and it's just what I like to see in an episode of this caliber. But yeah, I thought, wow, this was a very, like, heart-wrenching episode, and to be honest, I think this is got to be on one of my top 10s, because of how, like, in-depth it goes, like, how emotional. Like, the only reason why I give it my top 10 is because of that last final scene where Karai falls into the, like, pool of mutagen and she changes. That's the only reason why I'm giving this, like, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone has definitely put this episode high on their list just because of what they're doing this episode. And I think this episode is definitely one of the best of what they're doing this episode, with all the emotional side of things. And I think that what really helps bring this episode onto, like, a whole nother level. But yeah, I do think that this episode does go by a bit too quickly. I mean, I do think that, like, Karai living with turtles, I would like to have seen that, like, play over, like, a few episodes. And I do think that this whole story would have been so much better if it was played over, like, 2 or 3 episodes. And I feel like everything that they wanted to do could be almost perfect. It's a shame they don't do. Shame that I don't do stuff like that. But at least we got something as good as this. So yeah. Do you want to hear some comments now?
Let's hear them.
Okay, well, for this one, we didn't really get too many interesting comments. But from YouTube, we have Lucilia. Oh no, I said it wrong, sorry. They put, this episode was an absolute bomb. Super rad. Spend Hertz was wondering if this was the episode where Karai got mutated. So, yeah. David Case 8635, they put, I agree with you, Karai deserved better. Just like Prince Zuko from Avatar, The Last Airbender, Karai's redemption arc should have done more. That's why I like Karai's redemption arc in different fanfiction stories, more than the show itself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ethan Doyle 4978, they put, my favourite was seeing Splinter fight alongside the turtles. And yeah, it's Splinter. On Reddit, we got Aisha Yar 89. They put, Karai has no chill, lol. And yeah, she definitely does not.
Definitely not.
Big Month 5837, they put, it was the episode that got me back to watching the show, and where Karai became my favourite character. I do wish the outcome was different as well. It would have been nice to see her interact with family for once instead of trying to kill them. I would have loved to see Karai. I would have loved to see how Karai would have settled in and interacted with not just the turtles but April and Casey as well. And yeah, I feel like that was like a big missed opportunity to really see like how Karai really deals with all of it instead of just like being there and then just immediately out in the same episode. It does seem like a big missed opportunity. But yeah, don't hear some trivia for this episode.
Let's hear it. I bet it's going to be good.
It's somewhat decent. Okay, so when Makansho is scratched by Raza, in slow-mo, his expression is pain. His expression is pain by saying "to-ka" as a reference to Raza's partner in previous incarnation, which was the movie that had Raza introduced into Toes, and had a partner as a snapping turtle called Toka. Karai has a serpent head instead of hands, much like the character Scaletails, a snake-like alien bounty hunter from Dimension X, who has an action figure in the Playmates 1987 toy line. Michelangelo hums the theme
That's
song.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know who that character is. I feel like he's just appears in toy form. I don't think he ever appeared in like in the '87 show whatsoever. So at least he's getting somewhere. Michelangelo hums the theme song to the '87 TV show cartoon on 2 different occasions in this episode, while distracting Raza and Fishface, and after hitting Leonardo with a water balloon. Okay. Baxter has spikes coming out of his limbs and torso in this episode. This may be an animation error or sign that he's still mutating. Oh, I didn't know that. That's actually quite cool. Oh.
Really? Wait, they can still do that?
Well, I don't think so, but I don't know. It's really weird, just because I feel like the mutation thing in like it varies on the version of Turtle, because it's really weird with how they do stuff in like different versions of the mutagen and all that. So it's hard to say if it is like that, just because like in the IW comics, like the characters can get mutated, or like animals can get mutated. However, they need like special like medicine or like injections to make them smart and intelligent. But like in every other version, they just get mutagen and then they have just a normal brain of human stuff like that. So I think it works differently depending on the version. Because I also know in the '87 TV show they also did have double mutations as well near the end of the show, but I can't remember the reason why. But so it varies on the version, I'd say. So yeah, next bit, the mouth plate of Shredder's helmet can be detached separately from the rest of the helmet, as Shredder demonstrates at the beginning of the episode and the end of the episode. So unlike in the Legend of the Kokabuto, Raph does not make protests over freeing Karai. Okay. Errors. Donnie gets trapped in a cage, but he's shown helping Leo free Raph and Mikey after Karai mutated, and neither Leo nor Splinter had freed him. It's possible he took a page from Leo's book, grabbed his bow staff, and used the blade to free him. Okay. Or the other option is that Leo saved him off camera. Did not think about that. And then the final error is Donnie sliced his football in half, but somehow did it without using his blade. Did you notice that?
No. To be honest, I did not. After seeing all the crazy stuff that happened, it kind of wasn't there, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, so for the cast for this episode, we have Donatello voiced by Rob Paulson, Karai voiced by Kelly Hu, Leonardo voiced by Dominic Cutterbrone, Michelangelo voiced by Greg Sipes, Raphael voiced by Sean Astin, Shredder voiced by Ken Michael Richardson, Splinter voiced by Hoon Lee, Splinter voiced by Hoon Lee, Cyclor voiced by Eric Bowser, Fishface voiced by Crimson Lance, Stockman Fly voiced by Phil Lamar, and yeah. I must admit, in this episode, I don't know if you noticed this, but Leonardo's voice really did sound a lot different compared to other episodes. But I'm not too sure if that was just me. Did you notice like the difference compared to like last episode and stuff like that?
Yes, I actually did pick up on that. Like his voice sounded very, very different. Cause I remember, was it you that said that they changed the voice actor halfway through the season?
Yeah,
for some particular reason?
Yeah, because Jason Biggs was making like inappropriate comments on Twitter or something like that, and he got fired because of that reason.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that was just really weird how so much difference the voices. If you compared the old version, the old voice actor with the new voice actor, there is a slight difference in their tone of voice.
Yeah, I mean, I never really noticed it before in this episode. I feel like the episode which I really noticed it was in the season finale. But yeah, I must admit, like looking back on these episodes now, it's just like it's really like noticeable to pick up on this kind of stuff now. But it was like really weird, like going back and forth, like going between the voice actors, and now just permanently going into this one. And I feel like he's done like a really great job of like doing a Jason Biggs voice up until this point. I'm not trying to say that it was bad, because like the voice acting was still great, but I feel like this episode you could really tell that there was a big difference compared to the other two, or like the past few ones, which I'm not going to say it's bad, but you can definitely notice it. So yeah, then going into next week's episode, it's a disappointing one because it's a filler episode and it has nothing to do with the story, so prepare to be disappointed for next week's one. But it is called A Chinatown Ghost Story. So what do you think is going to happen in that episode?
Chinatown Ghost Story. Well, I'm guessing it's going to be like related to a ghost, or a ghost perhaps, or someone returning from the past, like a ghost, or seeing a ghost from the past. Like, I think it's someone very creepy, very eerie. I want to say the Rat King's going to return, but I don't think he is.
Well, would you like me to give you a little hint for next week's episode that should give you a bit of hype if you've seen something?
Okay.
Have you seen the movie, I believe it's Little Trouble in Chinatown?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically that, but turtles.
So what, is it? Is it like similar to that?
Yeah, it's sort of like that, but just turtles. I think that's the best way of describing it. So yeah, it's not like an important episode, but it has some decent stuff in it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, does that get you a bit more excited for the episode, or not really?
Well, to be honest, after seeing this episode, I feel like that you can't really top this one, and like it's like if they're gonna go straight into a filler episode, which I don't understand, and after the audience have just watched an emotional roller coaster, like it kind of takes all the action, the rhythm out of the series. Like they're not very good with the timing of all this. Like there's no like timing with the story development if they're just going to put another filler episode in. If you understand where I'm coming from, does that make sense?
Yep, definitely do. It's annoying. They never improve on this problem.
Like, it's super annoying. Like, after we've just watched this, now we're going into a filler episode that has nothing to do of what had happened previously. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's annoying. I mean, I feel like 2003 does a better job at it, where they do have like all the big story-focused ones, and then they do have like a little break with like 2 or 3 episodes, and for the filler stuff. But it's like great for everyone just because you've got to really develop the relationship with the characters, and then go into more story stuff. But I say with this one, it's just like you know, just like have like a random story one here and here and here. Most of it's filler. Most of it doesn't really matter, and the episodes don't really build a connection with the characters or anything like that. So it's just, like I said, it's just a mess. For like they want to do a lot of stuff, but like they also at the same time they can't really commit to like one thing, and I think it's just a mess of a show. It's so annoying because everything is there for it to be perfect, but yet they can't. Oh god. So yeah, yeah, that's gonna be.
It is a shame though.
Yeah, definitely. So that's gonna be for this episode. If you just want, please share, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. You can go on to the podcast by leaving a comment on YouTube, Reddit, Anchor, either as a text message or a voice message. But yeah, I've been your host, Teddy.
And I've been Hayden.
And we'll see you soon. Goodbye, yo. Bye.
Bye.